Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to our weekly commodities update video. This is where we do unbiased opinion on the bull and bear side for natural gas, oil, US dollar, gold, and silver. And if you guys are looking for the stock market update video where I did the overall markets, dark pools, sentiment datas, as well as earnings and economic datas, check out the video from yesterday. And let's get started with natural gas first. All right, so natural gas bulls still looking good. We talked about this one after this breakout, saying that essentially, right, we were talking about this, everybody got stopped out at this 3 pivots, and Wall Street reverses the whole thing. So after this big move, we talked about last week, saying there is a ton of space now for bulls to work with that higher low and higher high. And they ended up confirming that. So higher low being set and higher high broke above the high and confirmed that uptrend. So those are looking good. So daily uptrend confirmed, and as well as breaking above these key resistance around this $4 and $4.1 mark, and also getting follow through as well, right? Last thing you want to see is a breakout above resistance and then no follow through. That would be the red flag. But we are getting follow through, so that is a good sign for the bulls. All right, so the question now is where is it going to head to, right? Obviously, that's everyone's question, but so we zoom out. Now we can, because we confirm a daily uptrend, we can now zoom out to the weekly trend and look through signs, see what the weekly chart might do. So because of the size of the move from the weekly chart now, from the bottom to the top, this is just one move. It's 30%. Now bulls have a ton of room to work with for that weekly uptrend. So we're likely going to look for some kind of weekly retracement coming soon in the next couple weeks. Maybe we'll make one more leg up to this 4.5 range resistance, where it was very clear resistance. Sorry, very clear prior support, right? This support zone here, bounce, 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 and then back test because price is underneath it, or reject, right? Similar idea here, reject, reject. So 4.5 to this 4.58 range has some pretty strong resistance levels. And you can see how the volume picks up a little bit here as well around this 4.6 level. So the resistance are about here. So we might be able to make one more leg up to there before we get that started to get that weekly consolidation. So if we zoom out here for now, weekly consolidation, let's say we pull back all the way to $4, right? That would still be a weekly bull flag because we're still above the yellow box. That just means that from point A to point B, that's one move. And then this move would just mean that it retraced 38.2% of this move, meaning it's a healthy pullback, and it's a bull flag essentially. That just means the psychology of it just means the buyers, are interested in these levels, versus if it cracks all the way back down, that means this was just a momentum move, and that was the end of it. Yeah, so let's see if bulls can defend when we do pull back. I want to see bulls defend where we broke out from, right? That bull flag was around, let's just measure it again. Bull flag was around right here, which is exactly prior resistance. So ideally, if we do pull back all the way back to around this $4 mark, bulls would play some form of defense here, and then form maybe some kind of sideways higher, and then form that higher low here, and then go higher here. That would be the best case, and form that weekly higher low. See if the bulls can confirm a weekly uptrend from here. If not, then this would just be a one-off momentum move, which is a very common characteristics of natural gas. So be cautious of that. Natural gas usually get these very long trending downtrends, and all of a sudden you get one momentum move, and then it kind of trends all the way down to again. Right, we've seen these multiple times, right, in the past. Right on downtrend, one momentum move. There's a ton of space for the weekly uptrend, but did it even confirm it? And then just give it all back. Right, one momentum move again. Try it over here, and I get it all back. One momentum move, it fell back. So just make sure you know your characteristics of this instrument you're trading. Every instrument has a different characteristic, and natural gas likes to make these big move up bounces very quickly and then kind of just fades away once it starts confirming that downtrend again. Um, yeah, but if the bulls can hold previous levels of support, then that's a good sign they want a little bit more continuation. So keep on watching that. And if your chart looks a little bit different than mine, make sure to click this be adjusted for contract gaps so you won't get these gaps on your charts. All right, feel free to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. And let's continue with oil. All right, so oil here is, yeah, so we talked about here that resistance that we drew together for multiple months. Support, 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 resistance, support, 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 resistance, resistance. So we didn't even get over the first resistance. This resistance is also the low of all these candles. So there's also resistance there as well, right? Prior support. Now I think it's resistance. And we form a little bit downtrend here again. But bulls still have space they can work with. If they hold this Thursday's low and they start bouncing here, because this could still be saved. Because there's still a lot of space. Likely looks like more like a 50% retracement now. Yeah. So yeah, it's still okay. If we start cracking through these 50% mark, come down to the 60 levels, then it's gonna start favoring the bears. At the moment, yeah, it's not. I'll play something else based on how choppy this is. Overall, no signs of bulls at the moment. Right, we tried to bounce here on Friday and Thursday, but both reject. Let's get a double top. Rejecting from the $60 mark, which is prior support as well. Prior support, prior support, prior support, which is pretty much the gateway, right? If you want to gateway back into this 60 to 68 level, you got to break above this 62 to come back into this chop zone. So bulls haven't really done that, so they're still underneath that zone. So this whole structure above us is still acting as resistance. All right, US dollar looking good ever since this couple breakdowns, no follow through, right? New lows, no follow through, new lows, no follow through. Bulls confirm the daily uptrend here and never look back. So after confirming daily uptrend, bulls are still confirming daily uptrends. Higher low, higher high, the higher low. Another higher low just means the low is higher than the prior low, right? It's higher than the prior low. Higher high means it's higher than the prior high. Higher low, low is prior and higher high. And it's formed kind of like a flag and then break out again. Higher low again. So as long as bulls continue to make higher lows, higher highs, it's no red flags at the moment. Although we did hit that resistance we talked about together last week, this $100 mark. So perfectly ticked it. And let's see if it wants to do a weekly consolidation now. Yeah. So this is a one move. Not a single week low has cracked a previous low. So I wouldn't be surprised after hitting that $100 resistance, we get some kind of a little bit of a weekly pullback, right? And then see if we can form a weekly uptrend. See if we can get a weekly higher low and weekly higher high. So yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if we kind of chill down a little bit here and then kind of go like either a little bit lower or sideways if the dollar bulls wants to hold this weekly uptrend, and then maybe break out a little into late November or early December. Yeah, Now no signs of reflex. All right, silver and gold. So gold is slightly weaker than silver here still. Right after this 2 weeks ago, yeah, 2 weeks ago drop October 27th. You can see gold slightly made a new low, but silver held this range and is making an inverse head and shoulders. But that being said, even though silver is slightly stronger than gold, if this tightening range breaks bear, silver is still not going to be able to hold on to its gains. So super clear tightening range actually here on gold, right? Low of the move, out of the move, low of the move, out of the move. So as long as it doesn't crack these pivot lows, it's not a bear break. And these pivot highs, I have to see which way it breaks first. It does look like Friday it almost broke bull here because it broke above Thursday's pivot high. But I count this as just kind of one initial move. If it can crack above last Friday's October 31st high here, then that's a bull break on this tightening range. And if it does that, then we want bulls to head straight to 4100. If they can't do that, it's like a failed bull break and then roll over. That would be a red flag as well. That would just mean it's a weekly downtrend, right? If it breaks bull from this tightening range and then failed breakout, it would just make a weekly lower high, and then that'll be a weekly downtrend. That will likely mark the top for a while if we get a weekly downtrend. But for now, let's see who wins out this battle on this tightening range. And if this breaks bull, we want silver to break this inverse head and shoulders resistance right here, super clear at this 48.9. Crack above here, come back to back test this low of this all-time high structure around this $50.3 mark, and we'll see, go from there. If this tightening range breaks bear, then this inverse head and shoulder pattern is negated. It will likely come back down to back test this Tuesday low around this $45 mark. If we crack that $45 mark, then we're going to go straight to 44.2. There's not a lot of support between here and there. There's only a little bit tiny support here. If we crack 44, then we're going to go straight to 40. This $42 zone. All right, that is all I got for you guys. Feel free to support the channel and like, share, and subscribe. I make these videos every weekend. And I'll see you guys next week for more updates. And have a great rest of you guys' weekend. And take care. Be safe out there. Make sure you have your stop losses. Have a great rest of you guys' weekend.